Good afternoon, and thanks for having us in. South Dakota gun owners will soon have another protection. In a little over 2 hours, South Dakota Governor Noem is scheduled to speak at the National Rifle Association's annual forum in Indianapolis. During the event, she is expected to sign an executive order. Her office hasn't given specifics. According to a news release, the executive order will, quote, further protect the Second Amendment rights of South Dakotans, end quote. Following Noem's speech, attendees will hear from former President Donald Trump and former Vice President Mike Pence. The state of South Dakota has approved $60 million to build a new women's prison in Rapid City, as well as $271 million to start the process of replacing the state penitentiary in Sioux Falls. The state is hopeful this will help with the issue of overcrowding in the current facilities. The latest data shows an inmate population of 740 men in the state penitentiary, but an outside study done in 2021 found that the recommended occupancy for the state penitentiary is 426 inmates.
People are being stacked in cells. People are being caged like animals. The wait lists for programs are so long and people aren't able to get to mental health support.
But overcrowding may not be the only issue happening within the prison walls. In tonight's Kellerland investigation, Lauren Solik looks into concerns about other things as well, including medical needs not being met and a lack of quality food. A federal jury has found an airman who worked at Ellsworth Air Force Base guilty of attempted enticement of a minor. The jury convicted 22-year-old James Hannapel on Thursday. Authorities arrested him as part of an undercover operation during the 2021 Sturgis motorcycle rally. According to court documents, Hannapel believed he was communicating with a 14-year-old girl. It turned out to be an undercover officer. Some good news and bad news in today's flooding update for the Watertown area. City officials say Big Sioux River levels will continue to recede over the next several days. It's estimated that the water level on the river has dropped about a foot since Thursday night. However, water is expected to keep rising on Lake Kempeska. A map shows the areas that are at an extreme risk of flooding. As of this morning, Lake Kempeska was 3 feet over full and is currently rising at a rate of 12 to 15 inches per day. The lake is expected to crest this weekend at 50 inches over full. Sandbag fill stations have been added around the lake. Residents can now get sand at Memorial and Jackson Park, along with Sailboat Landing. Turning to weather, the theme earlier this week was the heat. Today, we're focused on the rain, right, Megan?
That's right, Dan. Today, Sioux Falls and southeastern Kellerland, not quite as warm as we have been the last couple of days. Right now, 56 degrees in Sioux Falls, northwest winds at 15 miles an hour, and everywhere there is clouds. As we head to the north, Aberdeen at 45, those northwest winds at 15 miles an hour there as well. In central South Dakota, it's much of the same, I should say. 43 right now in Pierre, north winds at 23 miles an hour. We may be seeing some raindrops here pretty soon in the Pierre area. And in Rapid City, trying to keep some sunshine, 44 this afternoon, north winds of 25. Here's a check of our afternoon temperatures. We have 40s, even a couple of 50s, but as we head into Iowa and Minnesota, there are those warm temperatures still. 78 right now in Spencer. The winds are strong. They're turning to be from the north, anywhere from 10 to 25 miles an hour this afternoon. There's our band of clouds slowly covering the state, bringing with it some rain. Right, like I said, we could see a few raindrops in Pierre to Murdo, even up to Mobridge as we head through the afternoon. Those will become widespread later today. We even have a marginal risk of severe weather this evening in extreme southeastern Kellerland from around the Sioux City area for hail and damaging winds. Otherwise today, 68 Sioux Falls, 45 in Aberdeen, 51 in Pierre, and 48 in Rapid City with those strong winds and rain chances. For tonight, 36 in Sioux Falls, 30 in Aberdeen, 33 in Pierre, and 30 in Rapid City, keeping those strong winds and rain around as we head into tomorrow. Tomorrow will be slightly cooler, 43 in Sioux Falls, 40 Aberdeen, 48 in Pierre, and 48 also in Rapid City. I'll have a closer look at when we can expect those rain showers in just a little bit.
Thank you, Megan. On KELOLAND News at 6 last night, we talked with a Sioux Falls addiction counselor on the growing overdose crisis, specifically involving fentanyl. Today, we are learning about a major step by the U.S. Justice Department to crack down on the deadly drug. 28 members of Mexico's powerful Sinaloa cartel have been charged in a sprawling fentanyl trafficking investigation.
As outlined in an indictment unsealed today in the Southern District of New York, the Sinaloa cartel is largely responsible for the surge of fentanyl into the United States over the last 8 years. That surge is a result of a complex and comprehensive fentanyl manufacturing and trafficking network orchestrated by the cartel.
Today's indictments also charge Chinese and Guatemalan citizens accused of supplying precursor chemicals required to make the deadly drug. The Air National Guardsman arrested in connection with a months-long intelligence leak made his first court appearance this morning in Boston. U.S. officials are trying to figure out how the suspect may have gotten his hands on such highly sensitive information. Willie James Inman reports from the White House.
21-year-old Air National Guardsman Jack Teixeira appeared in Boston federal court Friday, facing charges under a provision in the Espionage Act for allegedly obtaining and leaking highly sensitive national defense information. His family ignored questions outside court. With the American flag flapping in the wind outside his mother's front door, heavily armed federal agents made the swift arrest Thursday in a crime that went undetected for several months.
This was a deliberate criminal act.
The Pentagon first discovered some of its most highly classified documents posted on social media a week ago, although the leak began last fall when the material surfaced on a gaming platform called Discord.
It begs the question is, how did he have access to this most highly classified information?
The 21-year-old seen here in the uniform he is accused of betraying had a job that may have enabled him to monitor sensitive networks. Teixeira installed fiber optic cable at a military base in Massachusetts.
Speaking overseas Thursday, President Biden expressed concern about the leak, but downplayed any great consequence from the breach.
It's an embarrassment, and I am sure that our allies are just horrified by it.
Virginia Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger is a former CIA officer.
We'll never be able to pull all of that information back from the internet, wiped from a place where our adversaries will be able to see it.
The Department of Defense launched an investigation into how the material was circulating online for several months before the Pentagon detected it. Willie James Inman, CBS News, the White House.
The suspect is being held until his next court appearance set for next Wednesday. One of the charges carries a possible decade-long prison sentence. The city of Minneapolis is paying nearly $9 million to settle 2 lawsuits alleging more violent behavior from the officer who went on to kill George Floyd. Derek Chauvin is currently serving a 22-year sentence for his role in Floyd's death and a 21-year sentence for violating Floyd's rights. Now, disturbing body cam footage has been released from 2 more violent arrests in 2017 amid allegations his actions against Floyd were part of a pattern.